It is said that by 2030, China will overtake America in terms of GDP. But many other experts say that China is forging its GDP data. On the other hand, several reports indicates that China has reported an average annual growth rate of 1.7% over its economic growth rate since 2008. Many economic experts are skeptical about the accuracy of data on China's economy and official statistics released by the Chinese government. Changes from a command economy to a market economy, which was adopted in the past as a conservative communist state, are said to pose challenges to the Chinese economy. So, do you think the statistics that China officially presents to the world are trustworthy? Do you want to know what are the real Chinese economy is like and what challenges they are facing? Then let's analyze some concrete data on the subject and see if China's claimed progress is true or false. Before jumping into the facts about China's GDP statistics, let's take a look at what GDP or gross domestic product actually is and how it is calculated. GDP is the sum total of all goods and services produced in a country during a specific period of time. Also, GDP is the best measure of a country's overall economic output. For example, US GDP in 2021 was $23 trillion. In the same year, China's was about $17 trillion. GDP is also calculated based on per capita income of the country to get the best measures of productivity. But as a country that has been hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic, the statistics provided by China are currently unreliable. As many actual statistics are not available from the Communist country of China, a handful of information about the China is often evaluated by the analyzing satellite data and things like that. So people, before going into more facts, I'm requesting you to like this video and subscribe our channel if you are new to this family. So getting back into the core, growth rates often differ among China's 23 provinces. The growth of China's GDP in the first quarter of 2022 from 4% to 4.8% caused changes in the stock market. But the credibility of data and the democratic country will never come from the Chinese Communist government. This is because communist countries like China or North Korea don't have an opposition to check statistics or raise objections like in the democratic countries. Therefore, the only way forward for the world is to believe the statistics submitted by these countries. China rates itself as one of the fastest growing major economies since the economic reforms of 1978. China will account for 18.79% of global economy in 2022, according to current statistics provided by China. And in 1978, the Chinese government began a new chapter of economic reforms after the state-level control of all productive assets. These economic reforms included the formation of rural enterprises and private businesses, liberalizing foreign trade and investment, deregulating certain prices, and investing in industrial production and worker education. Before 1978, China was growing at 6% annually with some ups and downs. But after economic reforms, post 1978, China averaged growth of more than 9% a year. The economy grew by more than 13% in the following years. But since the early 2000s, China's rapid economic growth has slowed down. And for the years 1979 to 2010, China's annual GDP growth averaged 9.91%. Truth to be told, it has also reached a historic height of 15.2% in 1984. It is very astonishing considering the levels. Moving on further, the Chinese government reports that after the economic reforms, about 80 crore people in China have been lifted out of poverty. According to government data, China is now an upper middle income country. But on a flip side, according to the economists around the world, the Chinese government's figures are often contrived and large numbers of people are still living in extreme poverty. In the past few years, China's economic growth is considered to have slowed in the face of constraints including slower labor force growth, lower returns to investment, and slower productivity growth. Now let's get into more and more facts. According to a report by the Brookings Institution, a Washington think tank, global studies suggest that China's economy is 12% less than the official figures suggest. These findings strengthen the long-held skepticism about official Chinese statistics. Even based on official data, China's economy is at its lowest since 1990, after the problems caused by the COVID lockdowns. Several media outlets have reported that local officials in China's northeastern region have admitted to falsifying data when the actual numbers in economic data were far lower in the past few years. Also, several officials revealed that they had significantly inflated figures ranging from revenue and household income to GDP. That's why the decline in the numbers appears so dramatic. Citing additional reports from China, state-run Xinhua news agency reported that it's the reason why China's accounts appears to be very dramatic. Within China itself, Liaoning provinces has been singled out for its data inconsistencies. According to a Reuters report, a country in Liaoning provinces reported 847 million yuan additional economic revenue in 2013. This is 127% higher than the original number. There are reports of several such financial data breaches taking place in China. So now, you must be wondering how to measure economic growth when the government figures are unreliable, right? Some research suggests that satellite images showing the intensity of electric lights at night can be used as a measure of economic activity. One of the biggest example of this is the satellite views between North Korea and South Korea. North Korea has a wealthy system 60 times smaller than the South's according to the satellite images. Making it simpler, we all know that when an economy develops, things like infrastructure, street lights, houses and industries are created, right? So, even if the figures are falsified, these satellite images will bring out the truth. But unfortunately, the lack of transparency in the Chinese GDP growth rate is only the tip of iceberg of the country's secrets. How China determines its overall budget, the actual size of the military budget, the relationship between the various political factions, and so on are factors that the People's Republic of China deliberately tries to hide. Similarly, many current reports suggest that China is actually hiding the data about countries' wealth systems and instead releasing fake statistics. The only option available is to cope with the official Chinese reports, as no real facts or statistics can be obtained from communist regime. But let's believe that the truth facts will come out soon. So friends, if you like this topic and the way we present, then please like this video and you have to subscribe the channel if you are new to our family. Here we look forward to all your support. See you again with another interesting video. Till then, stay tuned.